I'm here to help prove to you that wind energy is actually feasible for the U.S. in most respects. Our opponents said that wind power is insignificant to fossil fuels. This is correct. That is the current state. That is the point of increasing incentives to try to make it more comparable with fossil fuel energy creation. This is not just an economic thing. We're not trying to get wind energy so that we can make higher profits off of energy as a nation in a whole, but rather to address the global climate change issue that has been so much talked about lately. This is most easily addressed by wind power because it is such simple technology, unlike what our opponents said. The technology is actually considerably simpler than fuel stations and such. It is simply a turbine. There's not much difficult about that. We use them every day. They're used in natural gas plants. They're used in aircraft, everything. Which might just be going a different way. But because there is no fuel used in wind power, there's no long-term cost of fuel. There's no long-term emissions. You get a small amount from production and a little bit from maintenance. However, most estimates according to the Union of Concerned Scientists, Environmental Impacts of Wind Power, most estimates of wind turbine life cycle global warming emissions are between 0.02 and 0.04 pounds of carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour. To put this in context, estimates of life cycle global warming emissions for natural gas generated electricity are between 0.6 and 2 pounds of carbon dioxide, and coal generated electricity is even higher than that. This means that wind energy at its highest estimate is more than 15 times cleaner than natural gas energy at its lowest estimate. The negative also seems to think that just because our plan does not fix this entirely, just because we don't completely get rid of our dependency on fossil fuels, means it's not a good plan. Any little push in the right direction could advance. As for the technology, it's still moving forward. According to Dora Mills' paper, a brief review of wind power in Denmark, Germany, Sweden, Vermont, and Maine. In only about 20 years' time, wind power has grown from producing 2% to 20% of the country's electricity in Denmark. That is a substantial increase in a relatively short amount of time. And according to the California Energy Commission, the cost of producing wind energy has decreased nearly 4 times since 1980. So in the last 30 years, it has become roughly 4 times cheaper. The negative also claims that Denmark is not a comparable reference to the United States. No country is going to be exactly the same, obviously, but Denmark is a highly developed country, as well as the economy is roughly similar. There was a point made that Denmark has much greater coastline ratio than the United States. This is definitely true. However, the majority of wind turbines in Denmark are in fact on the shore. They're all on land. I think it's over 80% is on land. Another example of foreign countries attempting to increase the amount of wind power. In 2009, Sweden approved a plan for wind power of 30 terawatts by 2020. 20 of that is to be produced onshore, while 10 offshore. So even in countries with higher coastlines, onshore is still the predominant area for wind turbines. The incentives in other countries are definitely higher. For example, in Germany, according to KPMG International, their report on taxes and incentives for renewable energy, the basic remuneration for wind turbine commissioned after 2012 in Germany is roughly 4.87 cents per kilowatt hour. This is even higher than what we propose.